The actors, these are the characters, and I'd like each one of them from right to left introduce themselves and introduce what character or characters they're going to be playing. The action takes place in Flossenburg Maximum Security Prison. In fact, the entire action of the play takes place inside of Bonhoeffer's tiny little cell. So first of all, I have you introduce
Am I right?
yourself.
Am I on the right?
You're on the right, and you're on the right track as well.
My name is Pam Ward, and I'm playing the narrator.
Stand up.
I'm Jeannine Grizzard, and I'm playing Maria von Wedemeyer. I am playing Bonhoeffer's fiance.
So I'm going to stand up, maybe people see you folks better.
Okay, sure. We'll start a trend here. Todd Lowenberg, I've got two parts. Bishop Bell, who's a friend and confidant of Bonhoeffer, and Eberhard Bethge, a biographer and close friend of Bonhoeffer.
I'm Joshua Hendrickson. I play Bonhoeffer's brother-in-law, Hans von Dohnanyi, and I also play a priest.
Hi, my name is Bob Brazeau, and I'm playing Adam Clayton Powell Sr., who was the head of the Abyssinian Baptist Church. He's older in the play in the 70s, and I'm also playing an SS Sergeant Fredrich, who's in his late 20s.
I'm Joseph Suste, and I'm playing a Nazi SS Major.
I'm Donna Boehm, and I'm playing a dream figure.
I'm Frank Romano, and I'm playing Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Bonhoeffer, a play in one act. The spotlight shines on Dietrich Bonhoeffer, standing behind the podium. He is dressed in suit and tie.
Händel entspringt nicht dem Denken, sondern der Bereitschaft zur Verantwortung.
Fade to black. A light shines on an image of Hitler on the wall. Scene 1. Time, April 1945, sometime in the afternoon. Place, Flossenburg concentration camp prison. A drab prison cell with off-white walls, 2 rickety wooden chairs, an old table with candles, and a bunk bed are all the furniture there is in the room. 1 small window with bars on it. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, German dissident, works quietly at his desk, writing. A key scrapes in the lock of the cell door, and a young man in his 30s, Eberhard Bethge, enters the room with an unnamed SS prison guard who brings Bonhoeffer water.
Thank you, Corporal.
The SS guard nods and leaves, locking the door. Dietrich Bonhoeffer is wearing an old frayed pair of trousers and equally worn shirt. Bethge is much more handsomely dressed with a suit coat and tie. Bethge stops and stares at Bonhoeffer.
I've been so worried about you. They feed you here. You look so thin.
Bonhoeffer and Bethge embrace. They hold each other apart, looking at one another. Bonhoeffer taps his stomach playfully.
I suppose, Eberhard. It's so good to see you.
There's a sudden sound of something dropping outside Bonhoeffer's cell, and a snapping sound, followed by a creaking. Both men cringe.
My God.
You haven't told me when they're going to do it. Could be tomorrow. They found a piece of paper that ties me to the assassination plot.
Bethge goes over to the window and stares up. He silently nods his head.
Come now, let's not talk about that. How's your family?
My family?
Bethge starts to talk about his family, stops and runs over to Bonhoeffer, embracing him.
Why can't somebody tell them to stop? Somebody just tell them to stop.
Bonhoeffer goes and puts his arm around Bethge, who cries. They hug. Bethge looks up at Bonhoeffer, as though expecting something more.
No, not here. No, Eberhard.
I know.
This is not.
Smiles, puts his hand awkwardly on Bethge, caressing his face.
This is not the place. They're probably watching us anyway. We need to stay just friends, Eberhard. Just friends.
I don't want to lose you.
You know I'm engaged.
I suppose so, but I do so want to touch you.
So I'll make you wear the pink triangle before they take you before the hangman's noose.
The war is lost. Why don't they realize that?
I don't know, my friend.
Hasn't there been enough killing?
You know, I was thinking how vast it all is.
Bethge looks at Bonhoeffer, whispering.
We were so close. We could have stopped him.
You'll hear us.
Let them, damn them. And I don't care if they make me wear the pink triangle.
They'll do it just to laugh at you.
Maybe I'd exchange it for a yellow star. What difference is that, whether I'm a Jew or...
The Nazis are trying to get rid of all of us that don't fit the Third Reich, and I'm one of them.
And I'm another one. So they let you write? I'm surprised they don't criticize you or take it away.
Sometimes I just don't know if I believe in God. I just don't believe in the church.
You mean that paper?
What is Christianity? What's Christ for us today? What's Christ for me today? I mean, look at the church. It's hiding. They're hiding away. This is no time to hide away. The Lutheran Church needs to act with strength and courage, and yet they hide.
What else do you do when you're confronted by bullies? You turn the other cheek. That's what a lot of them are doing.
The church wants to make an example out of me, too. Just a different one than the Nazis.
By being silent? They're a bunch of cowards.
Bonhoeffer looks over his paper, saying nothing. Bethge comes over to Bonhoeffer, grabs him by the coat, and stares into his eyes.
Dietrich, tell me truthfully, what will happen to us when this war is over? I mean, tell me honestly. I'll believe you.
I don't know. Christianity, well, without religion?
I say it to you again. What will happen to us?
Church is a mess, and the ministers don't know who to believe in, and they run from the Nazis.
Hitler did this.
No, the German church
Bethge
did
kicks
this.
the wall of the cell in the rage.
The church would sooner see you as a sacrificial lamb. They just want to save their scrawny necks.
Bethge paces around the room. He points a finger at Bonhoeffer.
I ask you again, where are we headed?
To New Germany. No, I won't be there.
Bethge slams his fist down on Bonhoeffer's writing desk.
Tell them. I mean, can't you say something? Just tell them that they were wrong, that you were wrong and they were right. I don't care. Why don't you tear up your papers?
Because I can't.
Damn you, you're betraying us all with your silence. At least you're trying to save yourself.
I can't, and
Bonhoeffer goes and puts his head in his hands
I'm
on the
not
table.
betraying anyone.
Yes, you are. The great Dietrich Bonhoeffer goes to the slaughter, silent in his suffering. You're just playing into their hands.
Bethge stops his tirade, comes over and puts his hand on Bonhoeffer's shoulder.
We need people like you, Dietrich. I mean, wouldn't the Nazis pardon you if...
I couldn't live with myself.
There's a sound of Heil Hitler outside. Bethge goes to the window and stares out, hearing boys singing a song about the fatherland.
Hitler Youth. Boys wearing a soldier uniform with rifles. Look at them. Look! They're probably being sent to the front. And look there. Their leader looks like an old man.
Bonhoeffer says nothing.
Look, Germany has no real soldiers to fight, so they send children and old men to fight the Russians and Americans.
Come away from the window.
No, I won't. Damn them. So now they send the hope of Germany's future. When will they ever stop? When there's no one left to fight? No one left alive?
Shouts, commands in German outside the window. The boys' voices die away, still singing.
Hitler's last stand. Who the hell knows where he even is?
Probably gone into hiding.
Probably hiding like a coward while the lambs go to slaughter. Maybe even God is helping him.
I can't believe that.
There were so many attempts. Do you know how many? Through intelligence sources, countless efforts, and they all failed.
Shh, lower your voice.
Sometimes I lose my faith. Operation Valkyrie. What a joke. Oh, I know. Maybe that's why he survived. He's got angels looking out for him, except for all the people killed in retribution. Think of that. Bonhoeffer, millions of people ordered to die by Mr. Hitler, while God just stands there.
I don't want to talk about that.
So many other attempts failed. Our attempt.
Bonhoeffer grabs Bethge, who shakes him off.
He's a charmed man. Once again here, Hitler gets the last laugh. You didn't hear, did you, that it failed because someone moved the suitcase?
Suitcase?
The bomb was made of plastic explosives. It was placed in full view of where Hitler would sit. Then someone moved it around to the other side of the table leg. The table leg saved Hitler's life, but supposedly killed 3 of his officers. The detonator, bomb, all worked fine, but Hitler escaped with only minor injuries.
So, the monster is still alive. The Antichrist still roams the earth.
And he's taking a terrible revenge on the ones who were plotters. I've heard thousands will be killed if they haven't been already.
No more talk of this.
No more talk of this. I think you should know something. Do you realize how many assassination attempts have been made on Hitler? 33. 33! And not a one of them succeeded.
I didn't know that.
Have you ever heard of Georg Elser?
No?
A common carpenter tried to assassinate Hitler, Goebbels, and Goering. Got all of them at the same time, November 8th, 1939. Got into the hall where Hitler was supposed to speak with a detonator and a bomb. Did it go off? Yes. Heavy damage to the hall where Hitler had just made his speech. Unfortunately, Hitler left the hall just before it was scheduled to detonate. Elser didn't bother with Goebbels and Goering because his biggest prize got away. Conclusion? A failure.
I see.
What about the 1938 attempt by Swiss theology student Bethge? He purchased a pistol, passed himself off as a news reporter, and waited in a grandstand for Hitler's car to come by. When it did, the crowd rose to its feet, preventing him from getting a clear shot. Another failure.
Seems to have led a charmed life.
A guardian angel watching over a tyrant. How the hell is that supposed to happen? I always thought people who are good at heart have guardian angels.
He doesn't have a guardian angel. He's just been very lucky.
I'm afraid so. And yes, I heard about the latest attempt. It failed too, of course.
Bethge laughs bitterly.
You said something about America, too. What's that all about?
Bethge stares out the window. He shakes his head in wonder.
Yes, the Americans. They're an enlightened bunch. Unbelievable. Do you know one of their biggest magazines? It's called Time Magazine.
I remember seeing a copy when I was in New York.
The uninformed Americans. They live their insulated lives in the vacuum bottle with too many riches and too much around them. It said, Man of the Year.
Bethge laughs cynically and mirthlessly.
Man of the Year. The American people know nothing. They don't know that Hitler became chancellor by lies and deceit.
Well, the American Negroes are harassed by the white majority, but at least they're not being rounded up.
It's too easy to become part of the herd. But let me tell you something. It takes a lot more courage to stand up for yourself, especially when you stand alone.
They tried to get me to speak yesterday.
Oh, they tortured you again? Not again.
No, they tied my hands to the chair. They didn't hit me. They just wanted to know other names.
Oh, thank God for that. Did you give them any names?
No, they were hesitant to hit a minister.
How do you know that?
He told me. You know, I was thinking how vast it all is when you came in.
Bethge nods slowly.
You know,
Yes,
it's bigger than you could ever imagine.
maybe so. But sometimes I wonder if you have any faith left at all.
Bonhoeffer looks down.
My faith sometimes is stronger than ever, and other days I just don't know.
Really?
It's my theological training, my theologian training, and it is just a joke.
All of it?
Damn near. I mean, okay. Yeah, heaven above, hell below, and it's just a joke, and I criticize the state as well.
I know you've said that in your writings, but why do you criticize the church?
Because the church is running. Church is running, and the church doesn't know. The church, they don't know. They just don't know it.
So why your hesitation?
Well, because the state makes the laws, and the church, out of respect for that, hesitates. But then, recognizing injustice, must act.
The church does nothing, even when there's social injustice?
The church must assess the situation first, okay? The state is a reflection of just law and order, and the church lives on the teaching of Jesus and the Gospels, and then must respond to what the state is doing. But what if the church does nothing in response to what the state is doing?
Bethge looks up at Bonhoeffer in response.
Yes, but what about your response, Dietrich? Do you think your writings are going to make a difference? Or just bring about more persecutions of the church and its leaders?
Eberhard, I just feel it's the right thing to do.
I didn't tell you anything more about one of the last attempts, did I?
No.
I heard about it after it was over. No one told you?
I didn't hear about that.
Bethge looks around the prison cell carefully. Satisfied no one is listening, he turns to Bonhoeffer.
Some of Hitler's own officers were in on it.
Valkyrie?
I don't know much about it, except one of the plotters was one of Hitler's top generals.
Yes. And?
Another failure. End of story.
Footsteps near the door interrupt him. Bethge looks toward the door, frozen. Sounds of a key scraping in the lock. Bethge walks toward the window. More sounds from the door, and it opens. A pale-faced man of medium height enters the room. His face is slightly pockmarked, and he wears the dark green, immaculate uniform of an SS prison guard. He looks at Bethge and Bonhoeffer and sits down on the prison mattress. His name is Sergeant Heinrich Fredrich. Bethge stares, says nothing, and turns away.
Hello, Father.
Tutor, Fredrich. How's your wife?
Oh, not bad, Father. How are you today?
Sergeant Fredrich lights a cigarette, pulls in silence for a few seconds. He offers one to Bonhoeffer, but not to Bethge, which surprises Bonhoeffer.
The doctor looked at her foot again. It's healing.
That's good.
I think your prayer helped a lot.
I appreciate that, sir.
Bonhoeffer turns to Bethge.
You know, yesterday I prayed with Herr Frederick that his wife get better.
I was beginning to think all the doctors had left Germany or were dead.
I sent you a little medicine your way.
Bonhoeffer and Fredrich both laugh. Bethge looks shocked and says nothing, continuing to look away.
Well, Herr Frederick is showing you pictures of his children. This is a picture of his eldest daughter. Doesn't she look like the father?
Bethge looks down and continues to say nothing. He weakly nods his head. Fredrich looks towards Bethge quizzically, then shrugs his shoulders. Fredrich stares out the prison window, whistling quietly, softly.
You know what I wish, Father?
No. What?
That I could turn this damn thing, this goddamn thing, excuse my language, this uniform in.
I know.
Would you believe now, Father, that now they're shooting some of us? Yes, now it's Nazis killing Nazis.
Fredrich gets up, paces around the prison cell, puffing a cigarette.
For becoming civilians?
Yes.
Fredrich suddenly kicks the wall of the prison cell. He turns around suddenly like he's about to salute.
They shot my best friend yesterday.
I'm sorry. Sorry. What happened?
Frederick's voice shakes with emotion.
They ordered him to pull up his sleeve.
Fredrich pulls up his sleeve angrily.
That too.
Yes, we all have them. That's how they keep track of us. He was deserting.
Bethge is staring in shock at Fredrich, but continues to say nothing.
So, what are you going to do?
Fredrich crushes out his cigarette.
What's that?
What will you do?
I just want to disappear. Forever.
Fredrich laughs sarcastically, then looks down.
I don't know, but the 1,000-Year Reich collapses. And you know what? I don't give a damn. I don't care. Please, just please, let me go home to my wife and children.
Fredrich stops, voice choking with emotion, paces around the room.
I don't blame you.
Fredrich turns to Bethge and holds something out.
You see this? This iron cross? I'm going to pawn it.
Bethge nods, nervously glancing at Bonhoeffer, who remains calm.
A symbol of my devotion to the fatherland. Ha! And what did it get for me? Nothing.
Fredrich throws the iron cross on the floor, thinks better of it, and picks it up.
You thought you were dedicated like any young soldier would.
I earned this for bravery under fire. And now I'm a dead man, just walking around with an empty head and a meaningless uniform.
Bonhoeffer gets up, goes over to Fredrich. He puts his arm around Fredrich, much to the shock and dismay of Bethge.
You know what's going to happen when this war is over.
Fredrich whirls around to face Bonhoeffer, anxiety on his face.
What? What will happen to men like me, Father? To be put out to pasture and just shrivel away until I'm nothing?
No. No. You are going to go home to your family, to your wife, and see your kids again.
Fredrich paces around the room some more. He nods his head quietly at Bonhoeffer's remark.
I joined the Hitler Youth at 16. At the age of 21, I was a soldier in the German army. I worked my way up, and it's all gone. What was it all for?
There is scraping in the rusty prison door lock.
Shit. My commanding officer.
The door opens and another guard comes in. He's fatter than Fredrich, with short black hair and wears a scowl on his face. Stripes and markings on his uniform indicate the rank of major.
Sergeant Fredrich, what are you doing in here? I thought you were down at the other end.
Right away, sir.
You know, Sergeant, it is very unwise to be caught talking with a prisoner.
Yes, sir. I am leaving right away. Yes, sir.
You have your orders.
Yes, sir.
Fredrich hurries from the prison cell. The major stops Fredrich as he goes out the door.
Don't you let me catch you in here again, Sergeant. Don't you know you could be questioned for this? Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
Now get out.
Yes, sir.
Fredrich leaves. The major turns his angry stare at Bonhoeffer and Bethge.
Heil Hitler!
Hello, Major.
The major stares at Bethge.
Well now, Bonhoeffer, were you talking to your friend again, Bethge?
Yes.
Ah, yes. There he is. He's a man of the cloth, like you, isn't he?
He is my friend.
Hey, you, Bethge. Heil Hitler!
There is no answer from Bethge. He looks terrified at the major.
What, silent are you? Bonhoeffer has some very quiet friends.
Say something.
Ah, so the man has a first name. Well, my quiet fellow, you need to leave. I have no need for priests, or is it ministers? They're all the same to me.
Bethge, you better leave.
I'll leave when he tells me to.
And this is just in case you didn't hear me the first time. Heil Hitler! And you'd better be gone in 5 minutes.
I heard you the first time, Major.
The major goes out of the cell door, laughing. The key scrapes in the lock.
Didn't you see his eyes? He had no pupils in them, just a stare, like a snake.
Bonhoeffer makes a sudden lunge for Bethge, forces him down onto the mattress.
Shut up! Did you know they could still be listening?
No,
They'll look for any reason to arrest you.
maybe I should stay another few minutes.
Bonhoeffer pushes Bethge away.
You don't want to be here.
I don't want to leave you.
You're risking your life.
I want to be here with you.
They're desperate, and they're going to shoot everything.
So let them.
You don't want to be facing a firing squad.
I don't want to leave you.
Like, be courageous, my friend. But it would be very difficult staring down the barrels of rifles.
Bethge goes to the window again and looks out. There's the sound of breaking glass, yells, staccato sounds of a machine gun. Then silence.
Good God!
What's that?
Looked like somebody was looting the building across the street. It's all a bombed out shell. A guard saw them.
There's no more fresh water, fresh food here anymore, at least not here.
There's none anywhere. Germany is a wasteland. People foraging like rats in the ruins.
There's not a day goes by I don't hear the sounds of guns firing and bringing the war right here to the city.
The Nazis have made the whole country suffer.
And I've seen soldiers rummaging in the buildings looking for scraps to eat. And they have priority over everyone, including civilians. At least that's what Sergeant Fredrich tells me.
A key scrapes in the lock. The major comes in again.
Still talking to Bethge? Why are you still here? Someone needs to teach you a lesson.
The Nazi major walks up to Bethge and raises his fist as though going to hit him. He stops, lowers his fist, laughs, and walks out the cell door.
Well, I sent your friend packing, and that's probably the last we'll see of him.
End of scene 1. Fade to black. Scene 2. Bonhoeffer sleeping in his prison cell. A light comes on. A younger Bonhoeffer sits there along with a man and woman. The year is 1933.
Nazism does not go with Christian ideals.
Dietrich, what would happen to us if the confessing church criticizes the Nazis? We'd all go to jail.
We have to keep the church free of all Nazi influences.
That paper you published last year, isn't it enough? It criticizes the Nazis.
Figure 1 walks around the room, slams her fist on a tabletop.
Dietrich, you're going to get us all in trouble.
We are Christians. Isn't it our duty to speak out?
Is that what you want us to do? And get us all killed?
Didn't Martin Luther risk his life to criticize the Roman Catholic Church?
Well, yes, but
He knew what the right thing to do was. And he knew he could not remain silent.
look what the Nazis do to people who speak up. They disappear, and they're never heard from again.
National Socialism is an illegitimate form of government. No, gentlemen, to say something is not enough.
Do you think your writing is going to stop them? Hitler's chancellor now.
This Gestapo. I mean, the church leaders are saying nothing. All of you are saying nothing.
Figures 1 and 2 look towards Bonhoeffer.
I think it goes too far. I think your paper goes too far. We'll all get arrested, and then what to become of the church?
What goes too far? The confessing church in my paper, I don't understand any of you, and you want to take the soft approach. And you think this is going to stop the Nazis.
Dietrich, we just still want to see the church unravel.
Figure 2 faces Bonhoeffer.
You say the only way to save the Jews is to convert them. They don't want to be converted.
I was only trying to find a way to save them. Can you think of a better way? I mean, look at you. Look at yourselves. The church has become a place for a lot of silent people.
We're only trying to save the church.
I know. I realize it, and I know you mean well.
Bonhoeffer gets up, walks around the room.
These are hard times, Dietrich. I don't know sometimes what we're going to do. The Gestapo have been trying to close the confessing church for a long time. They may succeed.
The church leaders do nothing. Again, all of you do nothing.
What can we do? They beat up Jews in the streets. What if they start beating us up? Can we be any different?
The church leaders welcome the rise of National Socialism in this country.
Maybe that is the solution, to protect the church. Shouldn't we welcome them?
They stand and confront Bonhoeffer, who paces angrily around the room.
How can you welcome people out to do murder? How can you remain silent when the persecution of defenseless people go on and they are burning synagogues?
We need to be careful what we say.
What drives you? God or nationalism? Is this the future of Germany? To pander to the Nazis by creating a Reich church?
Dietrich, can the Reich Church be that bad? It promotes the way Protestants can come together with the Nazis. Look, Dietrich, I'm frightened. Oh, frightened.
You have the right to be frightened, but it doesn't excuse anyone from putting their heads in the sand.
We're not hiding our heads. The church is out there leading.
Then show me you're leading and not following. Show me your fear is not turning you into cowards.
It's easy to sound brave until you're facing imprisonment.
I'm not afraid of arrest.
End of scene 2. Fade to black. Scene 3. The year is 1937. We see Bonhoeffer sitting in a black church in Harlem, New York. There's a black minister talking in the church, addressing the congregation. He is identified as Adam Clayton Powell Sr.
My brothers and sisters,
Powell is waiting for the congregation to quiet down.
my brothers and sisters, the reality of 1937 is a grim one. Thousands are out of work and are begging on the streets of this democratic country. I intend to do something about it right now. This church will provide a relief fund for all those in need of a few dollars to help with purchasing food. A hungry God means hungry people. And I will do something making certain we all have enough to eat. I'm going to start by contributing 4 months of my salary to that effort. Who will match my offer? Can all of you who have no means? My brothers and sisters, it's cold out there. People are starving. Giving starts with each of us who can.
Lights fade, then come back. Bonhoeffer is talking to Clayton Powell.
Put so much effort in making sure your flock is well taken care of.
Brother, people need me here. They just need something to get them through another day. Times are so hard for us. We're like starving invisibles. But someday, Mr. Bonhoeffer, we will be like other Americans.
And in Germany, the Nazis beat people up in the street, and the church says nothing.
The Ku Klux Klan does that to our people in the South. They may as well be doing it to us here.
Now the American Negroes are held from voting, and they're beaten in the South.
Have you ever heard of the KKK? They'll lynching us by the score. And the federal government does nothing. Governments in the South applaud the hangings of innocent Negroes. I'm a minister, but I'm not allowed in white churches in the South. How can churches who call themselves Christian not allow a Negro to worship with white parishioners? The Klan are the American Nazis.
You didn't know your government sides with racists. I mean, in Germany, the Nazis believe the Jews are garbage, and I've heard rumors that they're rounding up the physically, mentally handicapped, homosexuals, gypsies. I hear they're being resettled in jobs elsewhere. But it's the Nazis rounding them up, not the church. I just don't know what's going to happen to them. It just seems that your church does so much good helping people. And that's what impresses me.
The Abyssinian Baptist churches help people here a lot. Roosevelt's New Deal programs are supposed to be helping, but I see very little coming down to us.
I've heard about Roosevelt helping people get back to work. According to that public works program or something like that.
Yes, but we need to put food on the table for families now. Is Roosevelt doing that? Look, Dietrich, the police aren't the ones I really blame for our plight. The whole country doesn't care about Negroes. The cops can spout all the hate they want, but but they're just a reflection of what the government has been doing to us for a long time.
Nope. When I go back to Germany, I'm going to tell everyone about the amazing, wonderful work you're doing here.
I appreciate that, brother. Well, must go. My flock needs me.
Good luck, Father.
These are such hard times. Sometimes I fear my congregants look to me for miracles. Miracles are so hard to come by. I want to be a miracle worker for my people, but I can't.
Germany's in chaos. Whenever the Nazis promise a speedy recovery, that's what I fear. I fear that they're telling the poor unemployed Germans exactly what they want to hear.
I have heard of the name Adolf Hitler, but that's all I know.
I'm afraid, I fear that when Germany is through, this world's going to learn a lot more about this Hitler.
Take care, brother.
You, Father.
The sound of music starting up. Powell listening.
Wait, there's a spiritual stop. Would you like to sing with us?
No, Father, but I have a confession to make.
No. Maybe you're in the wrong church?
I'm not in the wrong church, but I'm wavering.
Let me tell you a story, my friend. Two of my parishioners, a man and a woman, were arrested by two cops on charges of vagrancy. Naturally, I went down to the police station to argue with the cops.
They're released, right?
I'm relieved it ended well. It looked like the police were going to arrest me as well.
But they didn't. Right?
What stopped them was the white collar and the black vest.
Not the color of your skin.
Are you joking? That wouldn't have stopped them from beating me up. I look just like another nigger to them. To them, we all look alike. To them, we're all a bunch of pimps and thieves.
Bonhoeffer looked shocked.
Yes, believe it or not, brother, we are all like that to them.
Well, my fiancée tried to convince me to stay in the United States. I told her I couldn't.
Well, hopefully she wasn't too angry.
She was angry. She was livid, but I told her, got to return to Germany.
Dietrich, if you go back there, they'll arrest you.
I've got to go back to where I'm most needed.
Powell quietly nods.
So you see, you don't need to be in Germany to see injustice. I had a confrontation with one of the cops last week. He called me a meddling nigger bastard.
He called you that? My God, in Germany, they call the Jews kikes. I've heard them called other names too.
Names can hurt so much more than blows.
Garbage, vermin, trash, degenerate subhumans. I saw this movie a year ago. Compared Jews to rats. It was called The Eternal Jew.
We may as well be vermin to the cops. They jail us for no reason, then spit on us. We get beaten up in jail or worse.
Policeman came to me the other day. And he asked me, "Are you a Nazi?" And I said, "No." And then he stuck his face into mine and said, this is how he said it, "You're either a nigger lover or a Nazi. Either way, we don't want you here."
So, now they use you for a punching bag.
I've seen that look of pitiless hate before.
The eternal Jew. The eternal Negro. He will still be here a long time later with his pride, long after the hate.
And the Nazis want the Germans to believe the lies. The Nazis blame the Jews for everything gone wrong. Jews in their eyes are Germany's downfall.
As long as there are innocent people to blame, hate doesn't go away, Dietrich. People stop the hate, but conscientious people can make it go away. If you're a poor colored, that's the way you get treated.
You know, in Germany, there are loudspeakers all over the place.
Ah, I wonder if they'll think of doing that here.
No, they're bombarding the Germans with how great the Third Reich is. And that's Hitler's 1,000-year regime.
That's a 1,000 years.
This is courtesy. of Dr. Goebbels, minister of propaganda, the minister of lies. And yet, with all these false messages, I'm afraid that people will come to believe them, but that's exactly what Goebbels wants.
That's scary. Very scary.
He is no fool, and he knows what he's doing.
Oh, clever. A new way to brainwash and subjugate people.
No one knew what the loudspeakers were there for. At first, we knew.
The upshot is, it does no good to argue with the cops. They have it in for you one way or the other.
And you'd think they'd be concerned about other things, like real criminals.
They treat us like criminals. It doesn't matter that there's a depression on.
You'd think they want to just help each other.
Powell takes Bonhoeffer by the arm.
You've talked about Nazis coming in the night to arrest you. Maybe that will happen here next.
It's hard to
Who knows?
believe. That's hard to believe what happened here.
Yeah, you've got to have a scapegoat. Someone innocent to blame.
But it's never the armed people, but the defenseless.
Someone to take frustrations out on. Colored folks are handy to blame for the depression, and they don't carry guns.
But Germans are desperate when any time they hear Hitler promise to make Germany great again, they believe every word.
That's it. In times of plenty, there's less desperation.
So disturbing that the cops, the police, call you these names.
Yes, they're good at that.
I've got to go, Father.
I understand. Tonight,
I've got to give hope to the resistance. The German church has become a lot of yes men for the Nazis.
take care, brother. I'll miss you.
The men embrace. End of scene 3. Fade to black. Scene 4. Bonhoeffer sleeping in his cell, tossing and turning. Another dream unfolds from the past. Bonhoeffer is speaking with his brother-in-law, Hans von Dohnanyi.
Well, at least you avoided military service. You could prove useful to the resistance.
I am so thankful for the assignment you got me for the Justice Ministry.
Von Dohnanyi strides around the room, looks out of the windows.
Dietrich, we must be increasingly careful what we say and do. The noose may tighten every day.
I know.
Resistance leaders are being arrested and shot. If you are caught, there will be no trial, only an execution.
Yes.
Von Dohnanyi turns on a radio. A voice comes on. It is Adolf Hitler giving a speech to the German people. After a few sentences, people cry out, "Sieg Heil!" in response to Hitler. The men listen to the radio for a few minutes.
Madman. Yet there has always been intelligence to his madness, and the people follow him like sheep.
Like the church. Church says nothing and they criticize everyone who speaks out. Fear has turned people into such cowering shadows.
Von Dohnanyi switches off the radio.
How is your work with students?
My students are in parishes all over Germany, and they are so savvy about the resistance.
Excellent. I'm so glad the Nazis banning you from public speaking hasn't silenced your voice.
So much to do. So much to do.
I know. I only hope that this year of 1941 will bring us better news.
So much to do.
What do you think of Camaras?
How about that? The head of the military resistance is a vice admiral.
Yes. Well, I've got more news for you.
Yeah?
Since the military resistance is organized, there's talk of, well,
Yes?
talk of taking down Hitler and his gang.
God, goodness, it's fantastic news.
Ah, keep it under your cap.
Of course.
Not a word to anyone.
But isn't there a plan to get Jews out of Germany?
Oh, yes. And that's called Operation Seven Funds.
How does it work?
Yes. It provides funds to get Jews out of Germany by providing them papers to pose as foreign agents.
I pray that it works. The Jews have so little hope.
Well, since they closed Germany's borders, this may be the only way we can get them out of the country. Dietrich, some of Hitler's top generals are involved in the plot to overthrow him. So it's not just the resistance any longer.
And I hear they're stepping up transports of Jews to the east.
Nazis are merciless. And they do things in such an organized way.
I don't know, Hans. Hans, I doubt that what we can do can make much difference.
Doubt? We all do. But you have no room for doubt. Doubt leads to hesitation. This is not the time for hesitation. Dietrich, you do not fear arrest.
Not anymore.
Good. Good. So our activities in Switzerland, then?
Well, our contacts with the church can help.
Just think, Dietrich. If we could get rid of Hitler,
Yes.
imagine a Europe free of fear, of want. A Europe where we can all live in peace once again, where our children can play again.
The figures of a younger Bonhoeffer, Hans von Dohnanyi, fade. End of scene 4. Fade to black. Scene 5. The interior of the rectory of Sigtuna at the Nordic Ecumenical Institute. Bishop George Bell, in his priestly robe, is sitting at his desk, reading over some official papers just sent to him by Sir Anthony Eden. A very attentive Bonhoeffer sits in front of Bell, eager to respond.
It's an incredible joy I can finally meet you, sir. Someone so close to Churchill. Security reasons, I think it's good if we speak in English.
You don't have to mince words with me, Dietrich. You know I've always had the highest respect for you, but you still must be careful. Even though you're in neutral Sweden, you should still use codes when you write.
I'm cautious.
And that is precisely another reason that Eden is reluctant to trust in you. Your being a member of Abwehr is certainly not very encouraging.
I'm trying to tell you, this is a front, this is a cover that allows me to circulate in social circles like these abroad and meet you, and the German military intelligence will ignore it. As I'm a member of Abwehr. My colleagues, I'm trying to write to them to convince them that I haven't given up and gone over to the other side. And I mean, this is my way of fighting fire with fire. And I just hope the church will finally see it that way also.
But Herr Bonhoeffer, as I told your friend Schoenfeld, do not get much hope that Churchill will listen to your pleas. He's also trying to keep close alliances with Stalin and Roosevelt, and if this meeting became somewhat public, that could possibly tarnish the relationship.
All the more reason to listen to us. Even though Sweden is a neutral territory, we have placed ourselves in great danger by meeting with you.
Because I am so close to Churchill, I know him very well. He will not listen to any segment of the German population unless they mount on their own a total insurrection against Hitler and show to the world that they refuse to live under such a brutal tyranny.
Insurrection? This is ridiculous that Eden and Churchill believe that we, the resistance, can pull off this insurrection, you call it, without help from your side.
It's not as silly as that absurd folk theology that Hitler parades throughout Germany. No wonder he has won over the church.
Hard to believe. The German people believe that he is the spiritual Messiah.
Yes, he thinks he's a German pope, an emissary sent directly from God.
And I think he believes it's divine providence that rescued him from all these assassination attempts.
Again, that makes our uphill battle very hard indeed. But I have such regard for you, Dietrich, that I will continue to press with both Eden and Churchill to get them to work more closely with you and your resistance fighters so that we can bring a hasty close to this nightmare of a war.
Thank you, Holiness. All your support's appreciated, but I've got to return to Berlin. We can continue our communication in this coded language if you will connect with Churchill and tell him how to contact us.
Churchill is so upset with present German culture, he thinks almost every German has an evil nature. He needs to change some of his thinking also. I want to tell him a lot about you and your family.
Does he know nothing about our resistance? Doesn't he realize that many people in Germany don't agree with Hitler? Anyway, thank you for seeing me. In Germany, you have to meet secretly to keep steps above the Gestapo, get steps beyond the Gestapo. And it means thinking them.
Dietrich, my prayers are certainly with you. And I know God will give you strength to continue your work. Please be with us. Please be with us.
Thank you.
End of scene 5. Lights fade to black. Scene 6. The year is 1943. A slightly younger Bonhoeffer sitting at his desk. Another shadowy figure joins him, revealing himself to be Eberhard Bethge. Other dark figures join them.
But you can abandon your pacifist views at least this one time.
I can't abandon my views, Eberhard. I just see all the terrible things the Nazis are doing.
So, in other words, you could kill Hitler. You could join us.
Liebe Feinde, wenn bittet vor dich, die euch verfolgen, euch Vaters in Himmel wacht. It's like the Book of Matthew. I've always believed in loving my enemies. Does that belief lead me to kill Hitler?
So, what do you want us to do? Turn the other cheek and pray while Hitler murders more people?
No, I don't.
Bonhoeffer walks over to the window and stares outside.
So, he cannot do murder, but I can do sonst nicht murder. It's in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in the Torah. Killing someone goes against everything I stand for.
Dietrich, come to your senses. The killing will continue.
Aber unter einem der herzlich, freundlich, wer gibt ihm der Endes? Oresh mit Christo. Oresh der Gebet mit Christo. So, I am not to forgive. I am to judge. And now I am playing God. Only God can judge.
Dietrich, we don't need to hear a lot of preaching.
I've always believed in the power of prayer.
Snorts of derision answer Bonhoeffer.
You can go on praying while the killings go on. We must act now.
And just where did the power of prayer get you?
Allein das so lieben, denn das seine Mitmenschen liebt, hat das Gesetz schön erfüllt. Now, I am to violate God's law if I don't love him. And if I kill him. I used to pray that things would just stop.
So I suppose you think God will stop this? Where is God in the suffering of people? Did God help the Armenians escape murder at the hands of the Turks?
Bonhoeffer gets up and slams his fist on the table.
Hitler is Satan incarnate. We have to stamp him out.
The figure rises and faces Bonhoeffer. Figure 1 rises.
What do you want me to do?
Goering is supposed to be there, the head of the German Luftwaffe himself.
We did enough research that we know how important this meeting will be. Enough to know it will be held in the highest secrecy in Hitler's own mountaintop military retreat.
I just hope no innocent people will be involved.
Dietrich, we have to act now. There can be no going back.
Bonhoeffer gets up and walks to the window. He looks up.
Am I doing the right thing? I don't know. Only God knows.
You know it's the right thing to do. I think you fail to realize something. You need to change your words to, are some acts of violence justified? I believe they are.
Bethge puts his hand on Bonhoeffer's shoulder.
It's a hard decision, Dietrich, but I know as a man of justice, you'll do the right thing.
Bonhoeffer moves away from Bethge.
I don't know what justice is anymore.
Look, I know you're questioning your entire ethics, your theologian training. There's no easy solution.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't.
We have to get rid of Hitler and his crazy yes men.
And now is the time to do it.
Bethge goes and gets a piece of paper. He spreads it out in front of Bonhoeffer.
What's that?
It's a map of the planning room where the bomb will be placed. In Hitler's own inner sanctum, we believe it's called the Wolf's Lair, high up in the Bavarian Alps.
The bomb will be made of plastic explosives in a briefcase. Nobody will suspect.
It will be codenamed Operation Valkyrie. There are several members of Hitler's innermost circle who are in on it.
And so you believe this will succeed?
There's little room for doubt.
So many plots against Hitler have failed.
It'll be carried out by a trusted officer in the beast's own lair.
The nice thing is, others will go with him.
They'll die with him?
They'll die with their tyrant.
So, who will deliver the bomb?
His identity is to be kept secret for understandable reasons. None of us know his name.
In case?
In case someone is captured and tortured. Torture has a funny way of making people talk. The Nazis are good at it.
Yes.
Believe me, I know you have done the right thing.
I think this is a fair and just world. Now I see no end to the Nazi evil.
You won't regret this decision, Father. You do understand now why we have to act. The time is now, not sometime in the future.
I need to believe this is the right thing to do.
The figures and Bethge fade away. Bonhoeffer is left alone, pounding the wall. End of scene 6. Lights fade to black. Scene 7. Bonhoeffer alone in a room, pacing around in circles. It is still 1943.
Ich habe Blut in meiner Hand. I'm wanting to kill. I'm finding an excuse to kill. Am I evil? Am I rotten? Is this the forgiving Christian with whom you I am the impure one and the hypocrite! I profess forgiveness, and yet I contemplate the death of the fewer. But the fewer am I. A fiend? I have empathy. Jawohl. So much empathy that I'm becoming one of them. An unforgiving, heartless Nazi. And yet, no remorse. Kill for kill and venting some inner pleasure like revenge. Coming like them, I deserve to be executed! Spare me innocent. Ich weiß es nicht. Ja, Leute zahlen auf mich. Ja, Leute zahlen auf mich. People count on me. They count on me. Who am I? God, forgive me. God, forgive. What have I become?
End of scene 7. Lights fade to black. Scene 8. The present. 1945. Bonhoeffer alone in his cell. The cell door opens and the SS Major comes in. The cell door opens again and Bethge comes in. He sits quietly on a chair.
Bonhoeffer, you have someone here to see you. She says she's your fiancée.
Maria? Maria, it's Maria Wedemeyer.
She better not be a spy. You're not going to slip her any secrets, eh?
I wouldn't do that to her, and I have no secrets to give her anyway. Do you mind my friend Bethge being here?
The Major laughs harshly. He stares at Bonhoeffer, then Bethge.
I believe you once told me you have a fiancée. Maria? Well, now I know her name. I know she won't say much. As for you...
The Nazi Major strides forward and pretends to hit Bethge, who jumps backwards, looking with horror at the Major.
That
Nazi
will
Major laughs.
teach you to defy my orders. I catch you in here again and you will be arrested. Now get out.
The Major turns to Bonhoeffer and smiles.
I had some things to talk over at Bonhoeffer, but I will leave.
Bonhoeffer gives Bethge a nervous, "Go now" look. Bethge gets up and looks towards the cell door.
We'll see each other again, my friend. This is not the time.
I'm going. Goodbye, Dietrich.
Bethge picks up his coat and looks around once, then at Bonhoeffer. He goes out the cell door.
I'll be watching you. If anything happens, if I see anything suspicious, she could be facing a firing squad in the morning. Well, I assume you want to be left alone with your fiancé. As for your friend Bethge, I think I hit him in all the right places.
The Major winks at Bonhoeffer. He goes to the cell door and motions for someone to come in. A very attractive young woman comes into the cell. She is 19, with short dark hair and a slim figure. Not thinking about caution, she runs to Bonhoeffer and hugs him. She is Maria von Wedemeyer, Bonhoeffer's fiancée. The Major goes out, smiling, and closes the cell door.
Can't believe you're really here.
They
What's wrong? What happened?
made me strip.
What else did they do?
They searched through everything. My purse, coat, clothing, buckets. At least the guard who checked me was a woman.
Bonhoeffer sits down, calm.
That's all they did. They were probably looking for weapons.
They didn't need to do that.
It's all right.
So, anybody else around? No men?
None that I could see.
Bonhoeffer gets up, paces nervously around the cell.
So, we're writing. It goes well?
Well, it's just my thoughts on theology. It's shaping up. My summation.
Yes, I see. My nephew talks about you all the time. Misses you.
Wedemeyer suddenly runs to Bonhoeffer, embracing him again.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about you. I miss you so much.
I miss you more than I can say.
Wish I could think of 1,000 ways that they would let you go. Why do they do this to you?
I don't know, darling, but I am very worried.
Worried?
I'm worried about you being here. It's not safe.
I would rather be here with you than out there.
Sweet darling.
They kiss, holding each other close.
I can't bear it. The waiting, worry. Why won't they let you go?
They won't.
So they drag you down with them. They destroy Europe and now everything and everyone else.
And they don't know what they're doing.
I heard some terrible news yesterday. And then good news from the captain of a local SS unit. He said that Albert Speer, Hitler's henchman, was ordered to blow up Germany.
How did he know
I
that?
heard this from someone who was with Hitler. Apparently Hitler has gone underground. Speer disobeyed Hitler and didn't do it.
Bonhoeffer looks down.
Thank God. Thank God, underground? Where?
He has a bunker somewhere in Berlin. Apparently he was saving it for just this time.
So, he's going to destroy everything and leave nothing for the future while he waits underground.
Bonhoeffer paces nervously around the cell, staring out the window.
Nothing for the children, just a wasteland for me.
He's a coward. They all are when their backs are to the wall. What do? They disappear, go into hiding and live comfortably. I hope the Allies capture him soon. I hope they string him up. Shh. I won't be quiet. Damn him to hell, and don't you tell me to be quiet.
They could still be listening.
I don't care if they are. At least if they arrest me, I could be with you.
No, you wouldn't.
I wish I could die with you.
Bonhoeffer grabs Wedemeyer gently by the shoulders. He looks into her eyes.
If you would. And you know, you've got to go on regardless. You've got to go on regardless. And they wouldn't let us go together, they'll keep us apart.
Just to torture us.
Wedemeyer begins to cry. She lowers her head.
I wish that plan hadn't worked. Why didn't God let him be killed?
Maria, don't bring this up.
Now he hides in his bunker while Germany falls around him. The great Fuhrer.
Maria, I don't hate him anymore.
1 sec.
Wedemeyer stares at Bonhoeffer.
How can you say that after what he's done?
I've tried to forgive him.
Did you forgive him because you're a minister and that's your job?
All be equals in the eyes of God, Maria.
Sometimes I wish you'd stayed in America. You would be safe there.
For whose sake? Mine?
No, for our sake. For our sake. Were you even thinking of us? Or just you?
You can try your judgment like this. I came back because I felt it was God's will.
God's will. God's will. We could have been safe in America.
We could have been married by now.
People like to be angry.
Wedemeyer begins crying. She sits down heavily on the cell bunk.
I just don't want to lose you. Now I will be left alone. All alone, along with everyone else, to pick up the pieces of what was once Germany.
No.
You know. But how does knowing get you out of this?
I thought that we could understand better.
I'm surprised they let you write it here.
Wedemeyer grabs Bonhoeffer's hands.
I don't want to be saying that this is the last time that I look upon you.
It's not the last time, and we can still write to each other.
But you are the man I love. How will letters be satisfying?
Wedemeyer backs up, staring at Bonhoeffer.
Don't you realize what you've done? You threw me away. You put your work ahead of us.
Nothing I would have liked better than to be married with you by now.
And then what? Then I lose my husband. He offered himself to the Nazis like a sacrificial lamb.
Maria, stop this.
I have lost you.
Hmm?
There you go.
No, I haven't.
But I will. I will lose you. They will kill you,
haven't
and
lost.
for what?
You have not
They will
lost me.
kill you, and for what?
Bonhoeffer gets up, walks to Wedemeyer. She backs up again, looking at him accusingly.
Did you do this to me deliberately, Dietrich? Do you want me to feel sorry for you? Huh?
How could you say such a thing? You know it is not true.
Maria continues to back up from Bonhoeffer, pointing a finger at him.
Isn't it? You just keep working quietly at your desk on all those papers until they come for you. Isn't that right?
These papers are just a reflection of my feelings about theology and the church.
Wedemeyer gestures with her hand towards the door of the cell.
And then they let you write? And while you're sleeping, they're spying on you? More ammunition for the hangman's noose?
Wedemeyer breaks down, crying. Bonhoeffer goes to her. Wedemeyer avoids him, turning to the wall, pounding her fists against it.
What if they tear up all your papers? What good did all of it do?
That's all I got. It's my only chance to reach out to the people to warn them where I think the church is going.
Wedemeyer grabs him by the arms, looks steadily into his eyes.
Dietrich, I had a dream last night.
What was it?
I dreamed that we were living in that little house with the white picket fence that Americans always talk about. You know, the one in a small town somewhere in the United States.
I remember.
And I was pregnant, carrying your child. And we were so happy. And you know what?
Bonhoeffer nods his head, smiling.
My grandmother told us that it would be a boy.
Yes.
And then we got into a quarrel about what name to give him.
Bonhoeffer embraces Wedemeyer.
I wanted to give him an American name. I think Christopher or William. You, however, wanted a German name and insisted on the name Heinrich.
Bonhoeffer gasps with mirth.
Heinrich. It's not a name I would have thought of at all.
I remember we were practically shouting names at each other, almost like insults. I would yell, Christopher, and you would answer, Heinrich.
So, how did this end? How did we make up? I bring you flowers, we go out to dinner or something?
Wedemeyer smiles gently, tearfully.
We made love, and it felt like the first time.
Bonhoeffer strokes Wedemeyer's neck gently. She kisses his hand.
Better stop that, mister. That can lead to other things.
There's a sudden shout of Heil Hitler outside, followed by loud gunshots. Bonhoeffer freezes for one instant, then grabs Wedemeyer's arms, encircling, trying to protect her. They go down in a crouch near the bunk.
What was that?
I don't know.
He gets up and goes to the window, staring out.
I ask you in the name of God, what was that?
Bonhoeffer says nothing, turns to Maria.
It was nothing. I couldn't really see it anyway.
You're lying to me.
Wedemeyer gets up and rushes to the window. Staring out, she utters a gasp.
Didn't want you to see that.
Wedemeyer whirls around to face Bonhoeffer.
Why did you lie to me? That it was a firing squad?
I don't know.
To spare me somehow? Don't you know how often I have seen death in this damn war?
Bonhoeffer tries to put his arms around Wedemeyer, but she turns away from him.
You men are all alike, thinking you can protect us little dainty women.
I just wanted to spare you. I'm sorry, Maria.
Yes, well, mister, you don't need to protect your little nun. I assure you, she can take it.
Bonhoeffer again tries to put his arm around Wedemeyer, but again she wrestles free, pointing at Bonhoeffer.
The great Mr. Bonhoeffer. And do you think I'm going to watch you go to your execution and not say a word?
Mary, stop this.
Not say a word. And just snipple quietly while the lamb is led to the slaughter.
Stop this. Please.
Watch them put the blindfold over your face and then wait for them to kick the bench out from under you. And then your body swaying. Oh my God.
Wedemeyer collapses onto the floor in tears. Bonhoeffer gathers her in his arms, and this time she doesn't resist.
Dietrich, when did everything go so wrong?
I don't know.
I mean, with the world. When did selfishness and greed conquer everything and leave nothing?
The world's imperfect, and the void is taking over us that can only be tempered by the return to God. You know, there's hope that we can fight to protect what is left.
And what will be left of Germany? Of
Well,
Europe?
The war's almost over. The Russians, the Americans are winning. It's just a matter of time, and Germany will rise again.
What will be left of the Germany we knew? And you won't be here to witness it.
Wedemeyer strokes Bonhoeffer's face, looking earnestly at him.
I need to touch you. Just let me caress your face.
No. I told you I was working with Reverend Powell in New York.
Maria stares at Bonhoeffer.
I remember, yes.
He wanted me to stay in New York, stay in his parish.
Then why didn't you?
Because all the things were happening in his parish and the way the American Negroes were being treated.
I don't doubt that America has her own problems, but do they round up Negroes there?
Reverend Powell says no, but many have been terrorized in the southern states and hung for nothing.
And soon they'll be tightening your noose.
Bonhoeffer says nothing to this remark, only lowers his head and turns away.
I'm sorry, Dietrich. I didn't mean that.
You meant it.
Dietrich, please forgive me. You know, I sometimes say things that I shouldn't.
She runs over to him and turns him around.
You have the right to be angry.
No, I go too far. I say hurtful things.
There were days I wish I weren't here. Days I questioned my decisions, God, everything.
Wedemeyer kisses Bonhoeffer. He doesn't return the kiss, but goes and looks out of the window.
Days I wish I could see America again. Free the land where they were just. Leave us alone.
I know. From your letters. I knew it, even though you'd sometimes hide it, what you were feeling.
There were days but my writing got me out of it, especially letters I wrote to you.
I know. So many times just writing to you would make my day better.
They embrace. They kiss again, Bonhoeffer returning the kiss.
I know your writing got you through bad days and how important your work was to you. It's just that
There's a noise outside in the prison corridor. Both Wedemeyer and Bonhoeffer look toward the cell door.
What was that? It almost sounds as if someone was listening to us.
Bonhoeffer gets up, goes over to the door, and stands listening.
You have to be so careful in here.
But we're not talking about top secret things.
They're probably checking in on us, and they're probably listening very carefully to see if they can find some reason to arrest you.
Dear God, do you think they have listening devices in the cell?
I don't know.
Wedemeyer comes up to Bonhoeffer, puts her arms around him. She studies his face.
Oh, shh, then.
Wedemeyer lightly touches his chin.
How did you get that cut?
Yesterday.
Wedemeyer looks astonished at Bonhoeffer. She lightly touches the cut.
They let you have a razor?
Sergeant Fredrich loaned me his, though the major was out for a few minutes.
Did you give it back to Fredrich?
Yeah, boy, yes.
Wedemeyer says nothing to this. She sits down on Bonhoeffer's bed and looks around Bonhoeffer's prison cell.
One small door and one small window.
Not much, is it?
I'm amazed you can even breathe in here.
A noise of footsteps in the corridor. The prison cell door opens and the SS Major comes in. Maria Wedemeyer goes to the cell door, turns and faces the Major and Bonhoeffer. She goes out.
Well, Bonhoeffer, did I miss your little friend? She's gone, eh?
She's out in the hall.
And I'll bet she doesn't want to leave.
Maria Wedemeyer comes back in.
Couldn't I just stay for a few more minutes? Just 2 minutes, Major?
Well, your little friend needs to go. It's time for lights out. Too bad you'll be without her tonight.
I'll go. You're a crude, insolent man.
Wedemeyer stops at the door to the cell, looks back at Bonhoeffer, and turning, rushes back into his arms.
Goodbye, Dietrich.
Goodbye, darling.
I love you.
Go with God, Maria. I love you, too.
Well, Bonhoeffer, got to go. I hope you had a lovely visit with your, fiancée.
The Major leaves the cell, locks it, laughs. End of scene 8. Lights fade to black. Scene 9, a few hours later. Bonhoeffer lies sleeping on his prison cell bunk. A vision appears behind him. It's music. A church. People sitting in the aisles. A man and a woman walk slowly towards the front of the church where a minister stands. The man is identified as Bonhoeffer, the woman as Maria Wedemeyer. She is dressed in a white bridal gown, he in a black dress suit with a white flower in the lapel. They walk slowly towards the minister. Faces of the people in the aisles, happy. The minister is smiling. The couple stop in front of the minister.
And do you, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, do take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? And do you, Maria von Wedemeyer, take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
I now pronounce you man.
The scene fades. The figure of Bethge appears, angry and judgmental.
Why didn't you say something, Dietrich? Why didn't you stand up for yourself, defend yourself? You could have lied, could have said anything, and they would have spared you. You have let the Church of Germany down. They have so little to go on now. There's no leadership.
The figure of Bethge fails, and the figure of Sergeant Fredrich appears.
I wish this damn war was over. I want to go home to my family. I don't blame you for what you tried to do, Bonhoeffer. I understand why you tried to get him. Sometimes I wish I had killed Hitler. I had chances too, but I couldn't. I just want to go home to my wife and children. Maybe I'll get a chance soon to get rid of this uniform.
It fades and is replaced by 2 shadowy figures.
Operation Valkyrie failed. How many assassination attempts did Hitler escape? Some of them even before he became leader. 22, 23? He leads a charmed life. Why couldn't one attempt have succeeded? It all took just one would have done it. God deserted us, Bonhoeffer, and now they have you. I hope they don't torture you. And you tell them everything. Can you imagine how many people will die if you talk? I've heard some of the Nazis hide cyanide capsules in their coats, so if things get too hot and heavy, they check out, just in time. How great for them. Not good for justice. Maybe that's what some of us should have done. Sewn pills in our clothes.
The figures of the three fade. Bonhoeffer stirs uneasily in his bed. The figure of the Nazi major appears.
They're going to hang you, Bonhoeffer, and you deserve it. I hope that for your death they torture you so much you reveal the names of the others. Heil Hitler!
The major's figure fades, and the figure of Maria Wedemeyer appears, looking tenderly at Bonhoeffer.
Don't get tired and depressed, my dearest Dietrich. It won't be much longer now. The war is over. I have searched so long and hard for you, Dietrich. No one seems to know what happened to you. No one at Flossenburg prison knows where you are. I think they know where you are, but they won't admit it. Cowards. Last night I dreamed of that house with the white fence, and that it's still waiting for us. There was even a gentleman who showed us inside, and Dietrich, it was so beautiful. The kitchen was spacious, and the living room had a fireplace where we could hold hands on cold nights. And there were 2 bedrooms, one master bedroom with lots of room, and the sunlight streaming in the big windows. And then I woke up with tears streaming down my face. Where have they taken you? My darling, what have they done to you? Why didn't you listen to me when I begged you to stay in America and not come back to Germany? I look for you everywhere. And I pray we will be together again, forever.
The figure of Wedemeyer fades. Bonhoeffer wakes up and looks around. Bonhoeffer bows his head, crying. He gets up and walks to his writing desk, looking down at his writing. He sits down. A voice, his own, begins speaking, although in his head, but is audible to the audience.
Happiness believed. Pain beloved heaviness, you went away from me. So, what should I call you? Life, blessedness, part of myself, my heart, my past. The door was slammed, and I could hear your footsteps slowly fade away. What remains for me now? Torment, delight, desire. How I so rend you.
Bonhoeffer suddenly gets up, staggering.
I don't like that thought. I'm afraid to show that to Maria. My hopes, my dreams, my desires for a new life, all of it on pieces of paper. So much of it unrealized. A year and a half in prison.
He touches the paper lightly.
So, what would happen if it all went away? What would happen if the Nazis declared it all wrong and took it away from me? What would I do then? So many letters of hope. Hope.
He walks over to the window. A key scrapes in the lock of the prison cell. It opens, and in comes the major.
I thought I heard the word hope. Hope for you, Bonhoeffer? For you? For me? I hope in your imaginary world, your imaginary friends, your girl Maria, your friend Bethge. Who is really real in your world?
The Major laughs.
What do you mean? They're all real to me. They wrote letters to me, and they came here to see me.
The Major laughs again, his laugh grating and humorless.
Well, Bonhoeffer, looks like your last few moments of solitary here have you confused. There's no one who's been in your cell since you arrived, except for me and Sergeant Fredrich. This is Flossenburg Prison. Flossenburg Prison, Bonhoeffer, maximum security.
Bonhoeffer stares at the Major.
It can't be! Oh, real to me! They're real! They're
Major
real!
laughs again.
Sure, Bonhoeffer, anything you say. I've read your letters. We all have. Just in case you might be conspiring again. But you know, we just couldn't let a would-be assassin like you know about that. Sure, I know about some of your friends and fiancé from those letters. So sorry. The letters you sent out from here, well, let's just say we humored you. We let you think they were going somewhere.
Bonhoeffer continues to stare at the Major.
We even intercepted a letter that was from your fiancé about living in a house with a white picket fence. In America, no less.
Why didn't you give me that letter? I needed something to hold on to. Just a chance. And we talked about that house.
You don't get any chance, Bonhoeffer, because you don't deserve one. I've got to say one thing, Bonhoeffer. I think I did a pretty damn good job of figuring out where your friends were. Where in this prison cell they were. I even pretended to hit one. Playing along with you has been fun.
I deserve to know the truth. I've spent my whole life preaching about liars like you.
The Nazi Major strides forward and raises his hand as though to hit Bonhoeffer. Just at the last minute, he stops and lowers his hand.
You're so funny, Bonhoeffer. I have arranged torture for you just because of your impudence, but I was talked out of it by my superiors. Lucky for you, priest. But do not talk about the Fuhrer like that. He has been good for Germany.
Brought the destruction of Germany. How can you say he's a great leader?
Because Germany has had high unemployment and he got people jobs. Damn it. He put the German people back to work.
In the munitions industry, rearming Germany for war.
Criticize all you want, Bonhoeffer, but it is you, not me, who faces the consequences of your actions. Look, Bonhoeffer, when I was 17, I joined the German army. I knew this new movement called National Socialism was what Germany needed to get her out of that terrible depression. I joined and saw so many of my friends join because we believed in him. When I was in my 20s, I was in the German infantry, but I was seriously wounded in battle. I wanted to continue my career being a soldier, but instead, I was appointed to the prison system. And I don't look back. This prison is a rat hole, but I'm more than happy to see people who end up here get what they deserve.
Well, I felt the same way about the Lutheran Church until I realized was being led astray by those who claimed to be religious, and then faced with the consequences chose to shrink away in the cracks like little cockroaches.
Don't confuse me with your church, Bonhoeffer. The Fuhrer has been good to me. You know what I was before I joined?
No, and I don't
I
care.
cleaned toilets for a living. I scrubbed floors. I was a common janitor and nothing. People would call me to clean their shithouse, and that's what I did.
Well, at least then you were an honest man.
An honest man by what estimate, Bonhoeffer? I was a nobody. Always jumping to somebody's beck and call, and people treat you like garbage.
You weren't a nobody. You're making a living, and to me, that's a somebody.
No, I wasn't, Bonhoeffer. I was a grain of dust. To be ground under somebody's shoe. I had watched other high-ranking officers like Joseph Goebbels go from nothing to something. Do you know what he was before he joined? A bank clerk. A nothing. Scarcely a higher plane than me. A club-footed little scrawny weakling of a man. I saw how quickly he rose through the ranks, and I wanted to be like him.
Goebbels. Goebbels. Now, he captivates the German people with his lies and propaganda.
Maybe I didn't care for him personally, but his speeches are almost as good as the Fuhrer's. And he keeps the German people excited about his promises of 1,000-year Reich.
Major, no country's gonna last 1,000 years.
But it would have changed the world, Bonhoeffer. It would have made people sit up and look and say we made a lasting legacy. People would have remembered us long after you and I are gone. Look what the Fuhrer did for Germany. We were a great country again. And when we return, we'll be admired by the world.
Legacy. Legacy of hate. You know what, Major? It's all going to turn to dust. The only eternal reality is God's love.
Those goddamn rich people I served for so many years, fixing their plumbing, unstopping their toilets. They'd curse and swear at you to get the job done, and I would say meekly, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know.
They're all gone. Bunch of rich Jews and kites. And I cheered when they were all rounded up and taken away. And now they're all dust. And who had the last laugh? Have a nice night, Bonhoeffer.
The major walks out of the cell and closes the door, laughing.
Hope for my father, my mother, my friends, my fiancé, and me. All this hope to what end? But my hope is in the confessing church. But so many theologians, they fear the Third Reich that they raise their hand meekly and say, "Sing Heil!" whenever a Nazi official is near. Sometimes, late at night, I hear the guards laughing, and I wonder, when their shifts are done and they go home to their families, do they play with their kids and do they kiss their wives? Surely they have human feelings and they take time out to enjoy the holidays. To enjoy the holidays now.
Bonhoeffer steps over to center stage, facing the audience.
Now I realize that Jesus and God are not part of the church. They're alive and well outside the mainstream power hierarchy. And hypocrisy, and that includes the Lutheran Church. So much of the time, I thought my faith was being tested, but it's the Lutheran Church I had no faith in, and to hell with the Lutheran Church and all those ministers who cower in fear and let monsters loose to do whatever they want. My faith rests in the eternal of God's love and forgiveness.
End of scene 9. Lights fade to black. Scene 10. Lights up. It is morning. Bonhoeffer waits to be called. The Nazi major stands behind him. Bring the prisoner forth.
Well, Bonhoeffer, I guess it's time to meet your God. Does that make you tremble in fear?
No, Major. I am ready.
Too bad the end has to be like this.
It's not the end, it's the beginning.
Prisoner, you will walk forward to the white post and stop. Close off.
I have to stop for an instant.
Why are you shivering?
I'm cold.
Bonhoeffer kneels on the ground, hands clasped in a prayer.
Almighty God, please love and protect those that are dear to me. I love them so much. Please look after them. Please.
Bonhoeffer gets up and walks to the silhouette of a gallows. Lights dim. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was executed in Flossenburg prison, April 9th, 1945, exactly 30 days before the prison was liberated. He is widely read and considered one of the greatest theologians of the 20th century. After learning of Bonhoeffer's execution, Maria Wedemeyer moved permanently to the United States. In 1967, in Bonhoeffer's memory, she donated some of the letters she had exchanged with the theologian to Harvard University Library. She was 53 years old when she died in 1977. Bonhoeffer, however, bequeathed almost all his property to Eberhard Bethge, except for a memento that Maria could choose from Bonhoeffer's estate. Moreover, Bethge, while Bonhoeffer was in prison, married his niece, Renate Schleicher. Finally, the following are the words of Bonhoeffer, who lived and died believing. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. The end.